Library Board of Trustees meeting to order. First item, are there any additions or changes to the agenda?
No.
Okay. I don't see any public, so no public comments. And we have a quorum, so we are able to vote for the minutes for April and May. Do we have a motion?
I move to approve both April and May's minutes.
A second?
I will second that.
Great. All in favor?
Aye.
Great. The minutes for April and May have been approved. And now we are on to reports.
All right. Like I said, it should be a fairly brief meeting. We are at the end of the budget year this month, so we have, we're sitting really well on the budget.
Yeah.
We'll be, and I've never had an issue, like if we turn money back to the city, that's okay.
They don't
We
cut
try
your
to
budget
use
the
what
next
we
year.
need to use, and we've been pretty fortunate in just being able to do some pretty big adjustments in the way we operate that have saved us some money and shaved some things off. And as I mentioned early on, we had to have a fairly flat budget for next year, so this bodes well for us. I do have probably I don't know, $10,000 or $12,000 in expenditures last month, and there'll be another probably 15 or more thousand this month, because we did do some encumbered some of our contracts that we have with like Overdrive for our ebooks and Canopy for our movies. So we did submit some funds to those just so we're in good shape with those, and renewed a couple databases. So I think we'll be doing fine. The public library statistics was released, so the link is there for that. And then Andrew's report provides just some data that he pulled. And then additionally in the packet, there is a really cool slideshow that he created for me last month, just kind of comparing some of the cities. I think he kind of did that for you guys at the meeting.
Yeah.
So this is just the newer data that he got from the 2023 report, and played around with it a little bit. And then
I really like those numbers that he gave us. That was really cool.
Yeah, it's
how he
really
presented
fun.
that. That was nice.
So he did some, a lot. Obviously we are a very strong programming library, but he also explains some of his rationales of why he thinks, we're still above 50% in our collection, but because our building size is actually kind of small compared to some of the libraries that are similar size communities, which, just as an aside, I can tell you guys, when we did the expansion, we were looking at going up to 30,000 square feet, but the
What's
climate,
it at now?
we're at 18.
Oh, wow.
So it'd be an extra
17.9.
12. That's a lot.
But the climate for that kind of fundraising just was not there.
That makes
We knew at the time, people were like, we need an expansion, yes, but that's a lot. So so we scaled it down a little bit. So we'll see what goes on in the future. We're definitely bursting at the seams a lot of the time.
Is the tentative plan to stay in the same location?
That would be the ideal thing,
Okay.
obviously, because of
Is
the
is there
being part
room
of
to
the-
go north? Would you go north?
Well, there's a certain amount of green space we have to keep, so I'm not
Right.
sure that we could do
Okay.
that. And going up is practically
It's a
impossible
huge.
unless we went up with like
all of it.
meeting room space and didn't do stacks upstairs.
Okay.
But then the roof would still have to be redone because that
Right.
roof is
Complete.
not
Yeah.
Right.
a roof
Absolutely.
that could hold weight.
Okay.
We shall see. We got 3 new hires and one of them resigned.
No.
I mean, that's unfortunate, but it happens.
I think I don't know exactly where the breakdown was because our job advertisement said up to 12 hours a week, but she told me today that she thought it was going to be like 20 hours a week. And she just needed more hours, but it's in the job ad. And then Kelly does it in the pre-screen interview. She talks about that. So I don't know where she saw that or what she thought, but She was wonderful, and she gave us a really great exit interview and really loved the job. She also works at Iowa City Public. So we won't be sad about that, but we were able to then just call the fourth person that we thought was going to be a really good fit and hire them. We still need to probably hire one more, but we're good with 3. We're going to wait until fall and not try to get that in the middle of crazy summertime. So we're one of our former library assistants, Alexa, had moved out of town and her plans changed and she moved back home. So she is going to do temp work for us this summer. So we're fully staffed
Oh, good.
for the
That's
summer, and then
important.
we'll look again in the fall. So she's covering shifts for us right now, and obviously that was really easy because she already knows what she's doing and is fantastic.
Minimal
So
training is good.
we have great new staff in this team. This new crew that came in has all had library experience, or in one case we hired a high school student who's been volunteering with us since he was in junior high. And he's great. He's fabulous. So
Awesome.
So yeah, we're super excited to have a second high school student. We have really stellar. Our 2 high schoolers are just fabulous.
That's great.
And then just the year-end budget updates, where I already discussed that we are. I guess I popped right by. I didn't even stop at the end of the budget
No.
approval.
We're just
I
going
just
with
It's
it.
still
rolled
under
through.
reports. You're okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh yeah, budget. And then just some updates on some granting. The Libraries Transform Communities grant. Rarely does this happen, but we've ended up with a surplus of money from that grant. So the initial, our engineering firm had given us figures for that handicap door, and it came in about 8,000 plus under.
That's
And then we were like, well, then we'll just add some walk-off carpet because we need to get that anyway to the main door of the library. And we were guessing that would be a few $4,000 or $5,000, but it was way less. So then we were like, okay, maybe we could add the handicap door for the back entrance of the
You
whole
said
building.
The rec center?
Yeah, and then we added more walk-off carpet. We added both of their walk-off carpets to it too, because a guy did just trip the other day, and it just
Yeah.
makes me really nervous.
it really is. If you're not steady on your
Yeah.
feet, that just like this much.
That lip.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just got enough of a little flip sometimes.
done
and
it.
it's- And then we decided, well, then we'll add some assistive devices. So we were able
That's
to
great.
put in a wheel. We're getting a wheelchair for the library for people who need the extra assistance.
Nice.
And we're getting reading glasses because sometimes people forget their glasses when they come in. And we're getting magnifying sheets and a large print keyboard. And those were all
that's
approved by the grant funders. So that was exciting. That
That's
we had to do
great.
2 addendums.
Yeah.
So they
I
allowed
mean,
you to
that's-
do
I was a little
Yeah.
nervous, and they were just like, "Yep, that's fine." So good for us, and lots of extra
I
things.
mean,
Yeah.
it's kind of self-explanatory, but a magnifying sheet is like something that you put over
You lay
your
it
book.
over.
and
You
then
lay it over your
just-
book or a sheet of paper. It's usually
instead of like just holding
it's
it.
often
in
a
your hand.
12, or I mean an 8
Okay.
by 11, but they also have smaller ones that actually have lights on them.
Oh, nice.
So we're looking at those to see what.
You don't want to get out without your reading glasses. It's something I've
And we've
learned
had-
after
what was
cataract
funny-
surgery because I can see fine until I go to read my phone or a book or
Yeah,
anything.
yeah.
Wow.
And what was really funny was we had another library had them, and I was like, "That's a great idea, just a basket of them for people to borrow."
Yeah.
And then someone asked if we had any the other day, and I was like, "We do not."
But we're
But we
getting
had
them.
a pair of lost glasses in the lost and found, and
Perfect.
they weren't reading glasses, but she was able to use them to see what she needed to see. So it worked out. And then just summer lunch started. We had 200 attendees the first day, and I think a steady over 150 in the last
really
first week.
good.
That's good and standard.
Yeah, Corey this is her second year doing that program. She feels much more in her element this year. She wasn't thrown into it as much. And Micah from the city equity, our equity coordinator, is over there as well. And then Jen is also, I asked Jen if she would sort of oversee and work with them to just help them with whatever extra boost they need. So
And that's a
so
daily
there's-
thing, right?
It's
Is that every day?
Monday through Friday.
Awesome.
And then we have Corinne, who is one of our high school students who helped all summer, every day last summer, and is back again this summer and super excited to be there again.
That's
So, yeah, it's
Is
been
this
really
at the
Renshaw.
right that house right next to
What's
the
going on?
community.
And on
Okay.
Tuesdays,
Okay.
the library goes over and does our programming, and then they've got other programs and happenings
It's
throughout.
very nice. I
so-
drive by and I see them and I'm like, everyone's so happy. They look hot, but they look
Yeah.
happy.
Yeah.
I heard a couple parents, Poppy had dance camp at Debut Dance, and I heard a couple parents talking about going over for lunch afterwards. It
Yeah.
was really nice to hear.
Yeah, so we have some restaurants who like Red's donates every week. We
Mm-hmm.
had Tin Roost and we lost them because they lost their cook, their main cook.
Oh.
So, but we've got several fill-ins, and then I finally told Corey, you don't have to like have a different meal every single. And somebody else told her too, like you can have hot dogs every Tuesday. Like that can just be the thing,
Yeah.
or sandwiches. You know, it's
Yeah.
okay. They're
Get
getting
excited,
fed.
and they're-
Yes.
And they'll
So-
have something to look forward to.
Yeah, yeah. So we've gotten some extra restaurants coming in, and so we're doing well. They had Fiesta the other day.
That's great.
So is that all privately funded with the change in federal funding for those programs?
We don't go through the federal.
So
we
it's
don't,
always been
yeah,
off. Okay.
Yeah, we do. We don't follow the standards that would make it have to fall under
Got
that.
it. Okay.
When they started that program, the city started it. They went a different route, which makes it really easy for
Yeah.
us.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's easier for us. So it's not funded at all federally. It's mostly all donations and food donations and volunteer funded, except for our staff that
That's great.
helps out with it. Last year, our person, the person who was supposed to do it our city person who did it decided it needed a step back. And one of our staff said, "Oh, can we take it over?" And I said, "Do you think you have capacity?" And she said, "Yes." And then she moved out of state.
Oh goodness.
So we were like, But Corey was really great and willing to take it on. She was supposed to be learning last summer, so she could take it over.
So does that count as programming numbers then? Like when we're looking at all these numbers, if the
We
library
count them
is-
on Tuesdays when we do
When
that.
you do the library
I don't
piece
think
of
they're
it?
counting them every day. I don't know for sure if they are. I think we could because they're coming and interacting with library staff every day. And the main thing that they tell us is if they're coming and interacting with our staff for some purpose, that we can count those numbers. If they're not, like if we don't have a table set up and it's just like a drop-in program or
Yeah.
whatever, then we're not.
That makes
counting
sense.
those.
So kind of the Tuesday numbers would be in there then.
And then Juneteenth, we joined
Yeah.
ICPL downtown for the resource fair on Friday. I did it last year and it was a ton of fun. And then Emily offered to go this year, so she was there and she said it was great. We had like rubber wristbands with Juneteenth, and we had slap bands.
Oh, great.
We had pride stickers from the weekend that left over, so we gave, and she said she gave all of that stuff away.
great.
So it was a great day for them to interact. And then the Johnson County Fair is coming up. We have traditionally had a booth in the fair for 3 days. That kind of changed last year as well. Obviously, COVID flipped things on our head. And then last year we just did Children's Day. And it was sort of a free-for-all. This year it's a little more organized. I'd still we're going to meet to talk about how we could organize it even more, but we'll go and give away stickers. And then next year, I have tokens in here because I wrote this before we decided. But next year, we're going to have tokens that they'll bring back to each library to get something, an incentive from us. Feeling like that's a great way for us to draw them back into the buildings.
Yeah.
That was the idea of Iowa City Public Library Director. He said that somewhere he used to live did that. So we're pretty excited.
It's a
We
good
always have
idea
good
when it's a
time.
joint booth.
Yeah.
That's a really good idea. I like that.
Yeah, and we're going to bring our book bike this year.
Oh, yeah.
In a truck.
It's a great
The
thing.
hope is to bring, and if you guys have not seen the pictures of the book bike yet.
I just saw them today. They're great.
So great. Who did that?
Pip
The
Printing
design.
designed them, and then we
ridiculous.
just
I
bought
love
we just bought the whole art package. So we'll get the art, and then we're gonna make like stickers and
Yeah.
stuff.
That's a great idea.
Awesome.
So
Yeah.
little guinea pigs, so cute.
Yeah.
So I think the fair switched days this year. So like they're now more over the weekends instead of being like a Wednesday through Sunday. It's now like I know 4-H judging is on Friday and then it's Saturday. Like it's a.
Over the
It seems like it's a better spread. So maybe that'll impact what they do for.
They haven't
Children.
I
had
know
a
ours
very
is on the 23rd. Whatever day that
23rd,
is
okay.
the date that we will be there. I didn't even look.
Monday? Tuesday.
Iowa. Oh, I guess I could just look on my 23rd of that's
July.
July Tuesday.
Tuesday.
It's a Tuesday.
So it must be toward the end of that.
Yeah, the end.
Interesting.
Interesting,
And then just professional development. This is very interesting. So I attended the Directors Roundtable. They have a Directors Roundtable every year in different parts. They hold 6 of them throughout the state. And I decided to go out of our region and go to another region just so I could meet new people and see what they had
Where'd
to
you
say.
go?
I went to Center Point, and it was a lot of small, tiny libraries. So we had some really good dialogue and some really good dialogue about one of the libraries is having a huge struggles with their city relationships. So, and if you don't recall, I am speaking with my friend Bill Carroll from Marion and Sam Helmick from Iowa City on that topic at the League of Cities Conference in Sioux City, just about relationships with your city and how libraries can be effective partners and how cities can be effective partners. And then we just found out last week that we got accepted to do the Iowa Library Association Conference, the same program, just flipped in the reverse, more for the library directors and the importance of them cultivating those.
The
those
League of Cities,
relationships.
that's more for the city.
Yeah, that'll be
Okay.
for city
Awesome.
managers
City
and
managers,
mayors.
Awesome.
So
That's cool that you guys have a presence. there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
really neat.
we're really excited to do. I have presented with them. I presented with a friend of mine from the state library years and years ago at one of their conferences, and then Bill suggested it. And last year it was in Cedar Rapids. This year it's in Sioux City.
Who doesn't like to drive across?
should
Sioux
have done it.
City,
Highway.
yeah, rough. It's a long drive.
It's 5 hours of awful.
Just the worst of Iowa. I mean, sorry.
All of Iowa.
We love Iowa. We love the state.
The closer you get to Nebraska, it's very flat. Yeah.
And then Public Libraries of Johnson County, we had our quarterly meeting as well. And then the next week, we met with Lynn County. Dara, from the director at Lynn County, invited us up to talk about just how we might partner, especially on training for our teams. And actually, it would be really interesting because we would all close for a day and have joint training across the board. But we're talking about whether we could throw some money behind it to pull in some pretty exciting speakers. We threw some names out there that are pretty big, and some people had connections to different people who might be able to get us an in. So we will see what comes of that, but it could be very, very exciting. For
You
our
say that was
staff,
for the
staff,
for the county.
for Lynn and Johnson
Lynn and
County
Johnson, okay.
together. So I'm hoping that becomes. We're going to start meeting quarterly, and I'm hoping that becomes more of a partnership. That has just traditionally not been something we've done across county lines. So I'm really excited to see that, what can come of that, what might happen. And Dara was gracious enough to host us, and we had run into each other at the Public Library Association conference, and she's like, "What do you think about this idea?" And I was like, "I think it's amazing."
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah. And our presentation for Association for Rural and Small Libraries was accepted. That is with my friend Sam Helmick.
No relation.
It's no relation to Jamie, but
Really?
equally awesome human.
Oh.
Presenting the program is called Choose Your Own Adventure Intellectual Freedom Edition.
Cool.
And the really cool thing about this program is that Sam, someone from Library Futures, which is a research organization, asked Sam if they could get an intern to create like an animated version of this presentation.
Oh, that's
And it
fun.
was, so they're working on that. And then the New York Public Libraries all asked her to come Sam to come and do this presentation for all of the New York Public
Oh my
Libraries.
gosh.
So
Wow.
it could get really big. It's a fabulous program.
So
Wasn't Sam-
cool.
Sam
She
that
came,
was-
yeah.
But the ALA,
Oh yeah.
Wasn't
that
Sam-
election, did she?
Yes, so they did not win, but
Okay.
but the interesting thing is that the president who did win, Ray Pun, stepped down this week for some health issues.
interesting.
So now they're talking about what that's going to look like. And Sam called me last week and said, "I need you to keep this under your hat, but I need to know what you think." And I was like, "Well, I think you need to figure out if you have the emotional capacity and the physical capacity
Yeah.
to do it."
Yeah.
But they
I
may
suppose
be
not
appointed.
having that position maybe grants a little bit of freedom in what
Well,
they
that's what
decide
I
to.
kind of said.
I suppose you get to pick and
Continue.
choose a little bit better if you're not.
That's what I kind of said. But they
Interesting.
they are talking about whether they're going to appoint or whether they would make people run again, which I think is absolutely ludicrous.
That's horrible.
The talk on the lists right now is do not do that. So I'm hoping,
Yeah.
that people they will follow that, but you never know with ALA how their minds work over there.
No.
So my role with this presentation is on just like policy creation and development, and as an admin, how we support our frontline staff with these challenges. So I'm pretty excited that Sam asked me to do that with them. They also just yesterday invited me to come speak with them in Cherokee, Iowa. I don't even know the details yet, but for a 4-hour workshop on the same basic topic with legislators involved, which I find interesting.
You've had a couple
It
things
is
with Cherokee,
interesting.
haven't you,
Yeah.
recently?
We went to Cherokee for a conference, Iowa Library Association Planning Day last year.
Okay,
Cherokee is a great little town. It's cute.
interesting.
And then the last part of that is just that been working. I met a person whose name is Amy from Brooklyn Public Library. She's their patron experience or customer experience person. Last year at the Association for Rural and Small Libraries, I was invited to sit in on a focus group with them on their study of library card access. And so then this year, after that study was released, they put together an advisory panel to discuss best practices for cardholder access and what we can do to lower the more barriers. So I'm super excited about that. And then she put out a call for people to serve on a panel for the Public Library Association for a webinar on that same topic. And we threw our names in, and she selected me to be part of that presentation if it gets accepted. So I'm very excited about all the things.
Yeah, that's a lot of things, a lot of good things.
And that is all I have for my report. So basically, let me see if there's anything that I want to point out otherwise.
Busy summer.
Yeah.
Busy summer and busier and busier. Kelly's doing some great things with entrepreneurship.
I love that.
Yes.
She's been awesome.
Such an interesting.
I love
Yeah.
that the youth and teen programming had 46 programs with 1,100 people attending them all. The Beltane Basket program was insanity.
I'm sure.
What was that?
I don't even know what they are, to be honest with you. I think it's Mayday type baskets.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And it was a drop-in thing where they could come in and make them.
Gotcha.
So they had a lot
fun.
of them. Great things. Derek did a fun video for us for summer reading program, so if you haven't had a chance to check it out, you should. It's really cute. He always does such great work for us. And then
I went to the summer reading program kickoff. It was wild. There were so many people there.
It was very
It
loud
was
too.
very popular. It was
Yes.
great.
It was a lot.
It was.
the pictures are so fun.
Oh my
from
goodness,
those.
with all the
I love-
foam and
Yeah.
like this, like
Oh my
And there
goodness.
was a kiddo there who, afterward, there was a comment on our Facebook saying, "Why wasn't there more foam?" And it was like a 12-year-old kid. We were laughing. So
No, I watched that video, and all you could see were just like smiling faces
Yeah,
throughout
that's
it.
awesome.
That was great.
yeah, it's one of our most fun events. I tell you, the staff does amazing work in the summer, and they are on the go constantly. It's much better this year. Last year with Jennifer out for medical reasons for part of the summer, it was Jen keeps the day-to-day schedule going, and that is not my forte, so thankful for her. It's more of us just actually, when you get up, make sure you look around before you walk out of the library. Make sure someone is there besides you these days. So it's a lot. It's pretty crazy. And then Andrew's report was just super interesting with his different
Always
Always.
spreadsheets.
stats and yeah.
And that is all the reports, unless anybody has questions.
Nope. I think we're ready to move on to our policy review. We just have one tonight, the internet and technology policy.
There was literally like 2 or 3 grammatical things that I already fixed. Other than that, we didn't
didn't
have
see
any
anything.
recommendations.
Do we need to
Just
Do we need to-
make a motion on that, or
motion to
you?
approve it, yes.
Um,
That'd be good.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the grammatical fixes.
I mean, just to approve the policy.
To
I
approve
think
the
we're gonna have to-
policy as it's
I-
written in the agenda.
I will second that.
All in favor?
I
Aye.
All right. The internet and technology policy has passed.
Fantastic.
Do we have any old business?
No.
All right. Any new business? I just want to say that this is my last meeting, so I just want to, I know.
Oh.
So I just want to
Stop.
thank
She'll be
all
at
of
every
you
meeting
guys.
from now on out
In
there.
there.
I'll be the
complaining
public.
about everything.
You'll
I'll be
have
in
a
the
public
I know,
comment.
it's gonna
Or
be
if you see
strange.
like later, if you're watching, and you see there's one person watching online. That's Laura. So,
Other than my children.
Do they watch?
yeah,
Yeah.
they do great. My
They wanna see
husband
what you're doing.
was like, I'm the only one on here.
One person.
That's amazing.
I watch it while I
Yeah.
type up the note.
Yeah, that
not a
That's
huge,
a very, yeah.
not a huge count.
Well, I was surprised during the pandemic that there were people
tuning in.
that would tune in.
Wow,
yeah.
what the heck?
I did get a
saw
real,
that, yeah.
a real good screenshot text from our council person, Paul Park, one day of me. He's like, "Great work, thanks, Paul."
That's hilarious.
Okay.
All right. Well, if there is no new business, then is there a motion to adjourn?
I moved to adjourn.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Ta-da.
All right. Yay.
Here we are.
Look how